2, 3. My question is, why is nobody asking about this? I gotta know. I want to get some people on here. Man, this one bothered me last night. My wife mentioned this, and as soon as she did, I just went off the deep end with this one. It bothered me all night long when I was coming up and just, when she said that this was what was posted by the most powerful man in the world, and I'm like, why aren't people questioning this, man? Why aren't people saying, why did you say that? Who did that then? Why didn't somebody say, who did that? Who did that? Who did that to him? Oh, no quiz bowl, no nothing. You're going to get in the whole press corps and you're not even going to ask one of the most powerful men in the world. Why'd you say that? I can tell you right now, man, the minds of those that are without Christ have been blinded. For them to not even ask that question or what's going on. What are you doing? You eating a bottle? You can't eat that bottle. Don't eat Daddy's bottle. Sit up here and ask these people, why isn't anybody saying that about why did he say that? Who did that? Who did that and who is that? Who created all this stuff? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to find my glasses. AJ, if I'm missing my glasses. I guess I set them down and I want to comb my hair. This is just a terrible situation that nobody's really questioning. You can go into the White House briefing stuff, and nobody's asking questions. As of now, there are no public record indicating that the White House press corps has been questioned about this. Oh, okay. There's no question. There's no question that this is all legit. This is all fine. No. This happened. This guy says it. And nobody's like going, well, who did that? No, that's called a tribunal. Yeah, they happened. No. Who covered all that up? How did all that happen without us seeing it? This is a simulation. These are all mindless, what does it say? Mindless, soulless, mindless entities. Soulless and mindless entities that are clones and doubles and robotics. Here's the trick. We know that we battle against the government and what have you. This guy serves for this long, and I called this man a long time ago when I saw all that, red-eyed stuff with his political statements. And I called that one right out. And that auto pen or whatever he used to sign that document right there, he served for exactly that long. And I just think that's, that they just blinded these people because he's given them power to speak great blasphemies for 40 and 2 months. And there was given unto him a mouth to speaking great things and blasphemies, and powers was given unto him to continue 42 months. I just know I'm not making that up. And they says that this happens. I mean, this ain't like his press chair or press secretary. This isn't like somebody that's disgruntled with him or one of the people that he fired or something like this. That's mad and saying this because the press corps would have just pulled them out and destroyed them. But one of the most powerful men in the world, he says this. He says there is no that. This happened. It's then. Okay. What's this? You'll be given great blasphemies for 40 and 2 months. And that's exactly how long he was in office until he signed that thing that he would leave. I'm not pointing any fingers. I just want y'all to know that if the most powerful man in the world is going to tell you, in the world of this God hath blinded the minds of them that believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Christ, who is the image of God, should shine unto them. Just know that this is in the Bible. If you're not going to question the most powerful man in the world for writing those comments right there, don't question the word of God when it's been told you exactly that's what's going to happen. What is that last one? And then the last Trump. Yeah. For we fight not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against the governors of this world, the princes of darkness. This is one of the oldest translations, and it tells you that all and along. And all of a sudden, I mean, this dude's a billionaire. And for us not to, the God of this world, the worldly governors, and for us not to understand that one of the most powerful men in the world, a billionaire, made this accusation right here. And that nobody in the press corps has asked a question about it. Nobody said, hey, wait, what did you just say? Oh, hey, how you doing? Thank you, baby girl. I got a whole new crowd on here, man. This is my London just got off work, I think, and then this is a good thing. I like this. This is early for the West Coast, and it's lunchtime for me. So I think it's a good spectrum of all the people we can draw in. Everybody over in the UK right now, if y'all are over there, and I got some people over there, why is nobody asking, why'd you write this? How did you come up with that? Okay, who would have done that? Because I assure you, they know that he is going to say, oh, really? Go look right over there and you tell me what you find out. And they know it. That's why nobody in the press secretary, nobody in the press corps has asked any questions about it. And it's just, I'm like going, y'all are just going to let that go out there? Okay. All right. That's a little weird now. That's a little weird. Y'all are going to let the most powerful man in the world say that this is true and that he was done here? Who did that? And that this is really what's there? A soulless mind. It's funny. Elon's got that twitch, and you can think it's Adderall or whatever. It's probably computer programming. But, nobody runs like that, And he probably walked in and went, that dude's a clone. How do you know? Hello, I'm a clone. It takes one to know one. Go punch him. Go wet your finger, stick it in his ear, and watch him shut down. I guarantee you. For Trump to be a billionaire and to post this about that guy is just a little too much for me. That was what the whole purpose of this was. Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Lady T. Brillo. This is the question that we should be asking is, why isn't somebody busting him out right now for this? Why isn't somebody asking him, well, who would have done that? You know why? Because he's going to turn around and go, you know what we uncovered? Okay. Just know that there's some scripture that goes with that. This guy happened to just lead. I remember before and I said, if there's something about him and in this certain month, it'll be 42 months later. If he withdraws or drops out or something happens to him, you let me know. I had a bet with a buddy of mine. And I just told him, I said, you'll come back around to that. And he really wasn't a big believer. And then to the day, man, this dude signs this little letter. It says, I'm going to withdraw from the so-and-so. And I was like, dude, 42 on the dot, man. And it says, who the God of this world is going to blind the minds of them, and that we fight the worldly governors, and that he's given a mouth to speak against us and to speak against heaven. It's right here. Given a mouth to speak great blasphemies. I'm going to see if it's been on my mind for days, I know. Well, my wife last night said it, this is what started me. He's given a mouth to speak great blasphemy for 42 months. The fact that I remember a while back posting that, and I was like going, that dude led for 42 months. He did. But the fact that the purple and I guess is appropriate to say whore in purple, whore of Babylon or whatever. You can ask Montel Williams what she was. But all of that sort of goes together. And like I said, that's probably why they crunch one of these things. But special characters playing around. And for one of the most prestigious characters in the world, one of the most profound, one of the people say, well, how do you know that? How do you know this, Mr. President, Mr. Billionaire? that just uncovered all kinds of secrets and 300-year-old people that were getting Social Security checks and all these weird things. You just going to blow that out there? And you're going to expect the whole press corps and all that stuff not to ask questions? They can ask questions if they want to. I can tell you where Jimmy Hoffa is right now. And I guarantee you, the whole thing is, and the rest of the dead yet live again. In 1033, that's when the rest of the dead got out of the grave after Jesus' resurrection. And it didn't say they were going to live for one generation. 1,000 years after Jesus' resurrection, when the rest of the dead yet live again. You can say Satan's little season, whatever you want to. He was put back in the box until 2,000 years later. But the rest of the dead yet live again. And it doesn't say that they're going to be grandparents and have 3 grandchildren. It says that the dead people are coming back to life, and they are going to, I guarantee you, they've done worked their way all into the minutia of what we call a government or entities of power, and the rest of the dead probably operate them. They'll be the ones shutting this whole little thing down, because it's easy for me to point that out. The fact that nobody asked a question about that dude asking that question. So they go into the press thing. This is all, look at this. This is days later, like 4 days ago, right there. He read that 4 days ago. So in the last 4 days, nobody's walked into the press corps and went, WTF on that, bro? What happened? Who did that? Who would have done that? Imagine whoever they are, the ones that told us to wear a mask, the ones that told us you can't go to church, the ones that said, curve. Are you saying we are in Satan's little season? Man, I mean to tell you what. Let me tell you one thing about Satan's little season is I got a great little picture for you right here. I did this chart. Right here is Satan's little season, 1,000 years after Jesus was crucified, right there, 133 AD. All right, Satan was released for a little season. Just know that. But the rest of the dead yet live again. So from 1033 until 2033, and I don't know what happens after that. That's a 2,000-year period. The rest of the dead that yet live again, we got 333 people in the room. Come back. The 3 of y'all, come back in here. Get. This is important. Everybody wants to know, why is it so much madness in the world? In 1033, which is 1,000 years after Jesus Christ was crucified, the rest of the dead yet live again. Revelations chapter 20, verse like 4 or 5. Okay? And then Satan must be released for a little season. So everybody's all stuck with that word, a little season. Hush it up. That was 3.5 years. Jesus led for 3.5 years after John the Baptist was beheaded. It talks about 3 Passovers. That is 12 months in a year, a season. There's 4 of them, 3 months. Okay, it's a little season that Jesus got to live for 3.5 years after John the Baptist was had that done to him. So I can't see Satan having much more of a little season. But that's the little part. He's the kingpin. All right? This is like Jesus led for a little season, and then all the Christians got to take over the world in the millennial reign right there. That's the millennial reign, that 1,000 years. But after the 1,000 years are finished, the rest of the dead yet live again. Okay, the rest of the dead yet live again. And that's... You just wonder how they get into power and what they're going to do with that power. And where's my picture? I had that. There it is right there. When I saw this, man, I was like, shut up. You got to be kidding me. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against the powers, and against the worldly governors, the princes of darkness of this world, against the spiritual wickedness which are in the high places. Can you imagine endorsing this? So that just makes us all the worse. Because in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall all be changed. Listen, at the last trump. This is his last administration, or supposedly, And it's in the Jubilee year, which is the trumpets, when the trumpets announce, and this is the year of Jubilee, man. I just, I'm a watchman on the wall, and I get to point out things that I see, like coming at the gate and all, and I'm like going, y'all do realize that one of the most important people in the whole world printed that there's this, no, I don't want to get in any trouble, this, and that this happened. And nobody went, okay, well, who did that? How'd you find that out? Or are they sitting there going, ooh, man, what else did you what's his name, find out? That dude with the black eye that's twitching a lot, is trying to go to. And it just starts putting all these things together for me. He is going to lead for 42 months. Look at that. Let me see if I got the scripture. And there was given mouth to speak into him great things, blasphemy, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. I know that right there, look at this. That's how long he was in office before he announced that he wouldn't do it anymore. I know that has nothing to do with the 33 degrees of on top of Mount Hermon, which is on the 33rd parallel, and that's where the fallen angels descended. I know that has nothing to do with the 33 rocket motors, which are called Raptors, which are really called dragons. The 33 rocket motors that are in EGOD or Doge, that's in his rocket. But he said before they could punch through the firmament that they needed 42 rockets. Dude. So they need 42 rockets to punch through the firmament. The rockets are called Raptors. They are in a rocket called the Dragon, and then that's going to go up into the firmament and do whatever they think it's going to do. And in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not. The believe not is blinded the minds of those that don't believe. You're sitting here going, man, I can read that. I see that. Oh, that is 42 months. You mean that guy only led the country for 3.5 years? And he had a person dressed in purple with pearls all around her neck and put her hand on this change purse and Freemason's Bible from Thurgood Marshall. Wow, these are all weird. And you say he only led for 42 months. That's totally weird. I just don't know how a billionaire and one of the most influential people in the world gets to say that this happened. So for the last 3.5 years, unless you ask any questions, you just need to know that this is who we've been talking about running the country. And that's dangerous because we're not even asking the question of, why would you say that? Why would you say that? I got up this morning, I was like going, my wife, she goes, I want you to take that exact same energy and go get on TikTok right now. And I appreciate y'all helping me hit all of my goals and all of those things. It helps me keep going. So thank you so much. And the people that are my subscribers, I got some news for y'all. And some of the old comments out of my Bible and pictures are just amazing. We are sending out some information over my Linktree. If you go subscribe on my Linktree, we're sending out an email this Friday. There was 1,500 people on the last one, and that was this just going to be some amazing information. But I am including in that, if y'all go and subscribe, I'm getting ready to include in that this chart right here, because people ask all the time, where are we at? And I print it in 2 different ways. I'll get out the way so y'all can take a screenshot of that. Take a screenshot of that because we're right there. Bam. All right, let me turn it this way because some people like it this way. And y'all tell me, do y'all like it the first way or this way? And I'll leave it on whichever way because I want to explain to y'all how we're here and how they're saying these things and how we're literally 8 years away from D-Day right here, which is silence in heaven for about an hour. Y'all like it this way? This way, okay. All right, that's what I got last night too. And I'll try to sort of stay out of the way. But, you know, if y'all haven't been through these seals with me yet, this is just something my wife said, hey, listen, man, you found your pearl. Go speak that and explain through it real quick. Anytime you see a white horse with crowns, just know that's JC, man. He's in the clouds. He's coming. So the white horse, the first one you see with crowns, and he was given a bow, that's the creation. That's Adam. He was a great person and a holy person, and he was given a bow, a rainbow. It doesn't say he was given a bow and arrow as a military military conquest, and it said go out and take dominion over the world, which is go out and conquer what you can conquer. That's the first seal. That's right there at the beginning of time. 1,000 years later is when the red horse of war came. The red horse of war right here are the Watchers. They taught men how to make swords, and they were given the ability to take peace from the earth. So that is that they were given this for war and swords. And the Watchers were born in the days of Jared, right there. Hey, Amber, thank you so much. And the Watchers were born in the days of, came down in the days of Jared, and Enoch was taken up in 3000 BC. Another 1,000 years later is the black horse of famine, and that's when the great famine. Abraham was born in 2000 BC, and this is 2,000 years later. It's the third seal, the black horse. Remember, he ran all the crows off that were eating the seeds that he had gathered from the great famine in Egypt, and he ran the seeds off. He ran the crows off. So I feel like that's why they gave him the black horse. David, his hands were too bloody to build the temple. He is the pale horse of death. Remember, David was thought to be slain, and this is all 1,000 years later. David was right here at 1000 BC. So these are all, a day is as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as a day. Just keep that all in mind. And hell followed with him. His son followed with him, and was built that temple, which David's hands were too bloody to build. And Jesus Christ walked up and said, tear all of this place down. You've done a terrible thing. 1,000 years later, after the first kings, and understand that each one of the first three kings that led Jerusalem, they asked for a king. That king led for 40 years. Saul led for 40 years evenly. David, after him, led for 40 years evenly. Solomon led for 40 years evenly. Understand that. So those are 40, 40, 40. Those are times of testament. They walked around in the desert for 40 years. It rained for 40 days and 40 nights. It's all kinds of things. Goliath taunted Israel for 40 days. 40 is not cool. Let's show you one right here. 1,000 years later, they break the fifth seal. It's when the white robes, that's totally Revelation chapter 20, when Jesus, he that ascended, is also he first that both descended into the lower parts of the earth before he ascended high above all heavens. I can tell you that it says that. And then he released the souls that were under the altar, that were beheaded for the witness of Christ, i.e. John the Baptist. And Matthew 27, verse 52, tells you that the rocks did rent, and the graves were open, and the bodies of many saints which slept arose. And that's just a confirmation of dead people got out of the ground and walked through the city streets of Jerusalem and were seen by many. And I love how that tells itself in the story, and that we know that when he locked away the devil at the very first verse in Revelation 20, that he locked away the devil for 1,000 years. And at the end of the 1,000 years, he must be released for a little season. And I just want you to know that on April 3rd, 33 AD, there was an earthquake and an eclipse in Jerusalem. That happened. So 1,000 years later, the devil must be released for a little season, and the rest of the dead yet live again, right there. So after 1033, all the rest of the people got out of the grave and were allowed to live again. The dead people were allowed to live again. And it doesn't say that they're going to be 65 years old and die. It says that they were dead and now they're alive and they get to reign with the devil. And the 2,000 years, those that are affected by the first resurrection are not affected by the second death. It's a second 1,000-year period. 2,000 years right there. Understand that. So in 2033, that is the end of the second death. It's 40 jubilee periods of 50 years. That's 2,000 years. It is a time of testament. 40 jubilee periods of 50 years is 2,000 years. So when he locked the devil away in 33 AD, reset the clock back. And 2,000 years later will be 2033. I'm not sitting here explaining things hard. I just want to tell you this right here. This is what brought me here. The most powerful man in the world just texted this, and nobody questioned it. And this is who we've been dealing with for that long. And it says that the beast will be allowed to lead 40 and 2 months. and it's just going to speak great blasphemies, and that we battle not against the gods of this world, which are the worldly governors. Man, I'm pointing this out for you. It says at the last trump, the trumpet shall sound, and I just want you to know that all of these things, for nobody to ask the questions, and the White House has not issued any formal response. No questions have been asked to this date. And it's been on play for about 4 days. That he said this, he said that, and he was replied that. That dude said that. That billionaire dude. That's my son right there, Daily Inspiration. Y'all have any questions, y'all can ask them and my wife, because they actually get straight through. And I love answering questions about this. Thank you so much for 500 people being in this room. I've got about 4 or 5 slides that I'm just going to go back and forth with, and I'm going to answer your questions. Just got here. What seal do you think we're in? You know, I'm so glad that you asked that question, because a lot of people just got here. And we find out that in these TikToks, like 10,000 people will be here, and we're right here and past the 6th seal. We are not in the little season of Satan, because a little season was just for a little season. However, in 1033, 1,000 years after Jesus locked away the devil, it says in Revelation chapter 20, verse 5, I believe, that the rest of the dead yet live again. So during this period of 1,000 years, which we're in 2025, we're 8 years away from them breaking the 7th seal, and the 7th seal is not the end of the day. There's silence in heaven for about an hour. That's the end of the second death. Satan is released from his prison. The 7 angels are given 7 trumpets, and then they start blowing their trumpets. The first angel that blows the trumpet, hail and fire, and 1/3 of the grass is burned up. So the wheels fall off the wagon right here when Satan is released from his prison, and all the tribes of earth will mourn right there. Right there. It doesn't say, you don't think you're in the grandma group and going, man, I'm going to heaven because I'm certainly a good guy, and you are too. No, I'm not. You know what? It says all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and I Billy with you. So just know that. And that right there is 2,000 years after Jesus Christ was crucified. And it's, man, I tell you what, AJ, if you were in there, if you would bring me a bottle of water in my glasses, I certainly would appreciate it. And that whole thing with this thing, it really bothers me that such an important person. You asked me what seal we were on. Can everyone here tap the screen? Y'all please do. And I want to get up there because I want everybody to hear this, man. We are right there. 2025 is 8 years away from the 7th seal being broken. 8 years until there's silence in heaven for about half an hour, and then they start blowing the trumpets. And trust me, man, that's when the grass is burned up and hail and fire and all that stuff. These are just the things that we're going through right there. And there was on my nightstand, there's a pair of glasses I set down, just a pair of reading glasses. And fortunately, I know this story good enough that I can almost tell it by heart. Man, please, people, read your Bible for yourself. Please do read your Bible for yourself. And please understand, it's so important. Let me pull some of these pictures up right here. And let me tell you what we're dealing with. Right now, for somebody to text this out, being a billionaire and not being questioned by it, and we know that what we're battling against has been given power to speak, this is what they're worried about. Let me find that scripture. He's given the power to speak great blasphemies and during the last Trump. That's his last administration and our last thing. And then Greg is going to sound. Y'all to listen. It says, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last Trump. The last Trump. What a break in the administration, and then all of a sudden, this is the last Trump. I don't know, man. Y'all can just say, hey, you're just seeing stuff. Oh, there's 666 people in this room? Ha, 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 I got you, boy. I got you, boy, don't I? You take that TikTok logo. I know you. I see it all the time, man. He's right here. Let's go ahead and burn on right by that boy. I'm busting you out, man. I'm busting you out. And you know what? It's just the truth, man. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against the principalities, against the powers, and against the worldly governors of the princes of darkness of this world, not somewhere else, man, of this world. Against the spiritual wickedness which are in ye high places. Let me go right back to here. I'm telling you that a billionaire wrote that there is no that, and this happened to him. Well, immediately should come out of your mouth. Who did that? How do you know that? Oh, well, you know how we didn't go into Fort Knox and look at the gold? Yeah. You know how we I found out some things, bro. Found out some things. Oh, really? What'd you find out? That we're battling this spiritual wickedness for 40 and 2 months, that he will be given power to lead for 40 and 2 months. And that's exactly what we're dealing with right now, man. And the spiritual war. It's literally releasing this for this type of person to be able to write that there is no more of this person. And that what we've been watching as clones and robots, what? You mean for the last 3.5 years we've been watching this? And nobody's questioned this. Rolling with Christ, love the energy, Mr. Morris, I love it. I tell you what, Jill said something to me last night, and she goes, well, there is no more that. And I went, what? And she goes, yeah, you know, he made a so-and-so in a post, and I was like, well, you know, I ain't even ate that whole sandwich yet, so I got to sort of, you know, and it bothered me, and I was like going, well, if he really said that, man, they should be just pulling him out going, okay, you were smoking whatever last night, and you just blurted this out. Were you drunk tweeting? And totally would have asked him that. And what's so a shame is that it happened 4 days ago, and that really nobody said anything about it. Nobody's even questioned it. The White House press secretary, the press corps, they haven't said, hey, were you drunk tweeting or something like that? Who is Lilith? I love all these questions. I'm not going to get off this subject and go down the street. A lot of people ask my wife and my son, hey, review this and look at that. And my wife's like going, you know what? You got to understand that you might be pulling this guy off track. And that we're in here talking about this right now, and that's what he needs to go live and go tell everybody that he can right now, that a billionaire, one of the most powerful people in the world, just texted this, and that said that we've been listening to this for 3.5 years, and the beast will be given power to speak great blasphemy for 40 and 2 months. Y'all just need to know that, man. The scripture right there, that he will be given a power to speak great blasphemies for 40 and 2 months. And at the last trump, the trumpet shall sound, and the things will be busted out, and he will be given power to speak great blasphemies for 40 and 2 months. This is how long he was in power for. And I don't even care how cool you are. If this is your campaign slogan and all this stuff, I'm not, you know what? I'm not saying things. I'm pointing to, these are all things, man. These are all things that literally we go to. I'm not saying he's this or he's that. I'm just saying go research this. Go ask any computer, go ask yourself, go ask, how long was that dude in office for? And it'll tell you. It'll tell you exactly how long he was in office for before the auto pen signed him out exactly to the day of that long and that long. That's in the book of Daniel. That's in the book of Revelation, like 3 times that he will serve for 3.5 years. It never says 7 years. Y'all know that? It doesn't say 7 years in the Bible. If you think it says 7 years, you show me that verse. It says 3.5 years, a lot. And I can tell you why it says 3.5 years, a lot. Because 3.5 years is the time that Jesus Christ, that he lived until the time John was beheaded. Jesus Christ was allowed to live 3.5 years after that, a little season. Let me show you where there were 2 3.5 year periods of the little season. And this ought to just scare you to death. You're not going to sit there. It'll say 7 weeks. You can say all the 7 weeks you want to, and that's a total thing, and that's going to have to do a lot with the 7 days and the 7 seals and the 7 weeks and the little seasons. But if there's a 3.5 year little season that Jesus was allowed, this is also the devil's little season right here. That has nothing to do with how long he's bound. He's bound for 1,000 years, that he must be released for a little season, 3.5 years, and then he is released at the end of the second death, where he will go out and gather the nations. Okay, that's the end of the second death. So we are right here, climbing up that, and after the 1,000 years, this is the killer. The rest of the dead yet live again. So I appreciate y'all all hit my goals. Kitty, thank you so much. Walking with you. Ethan, thank you so much. I don't know what he is, if he's out or if he's in or if he's left or if he's right. I can tell you what, man, you keep your eyes right in the middle. And as soon as you feel it straggle, as soon as you feel it go off, just know, like saying making a bill or something we're not going to be allowed to change AI for 10 years. Smoking what? What? You mean we can't touch AI for 10 years? It's off the chain right now. It has misled so many of y'all. Gosh, I catch it all the time lying to me about the Old Testament and particularly the Dead Sea Scrolls translations. You can ask it a question and say, give me the Dead Sea Scrolls translation, and it'll say something different, and you go, why wouldn't you tell me that the first time? And it is insane. It's insane that the rest of the dead were released in 1033. That was a great earthquake. The sixth seal right there, it says, and there was a great earthquake. And in 1033, there was a great earthquake in Jerusalem, in the Dead Sea area. And also, too, in 1033, they put a 12-year-old pope on the stand to serve as the pope, the same as Jesus was 12 years old in the temple. And he was there, and they said it was as a devil from hell occupied the chair of St. Peter, and he ruled and reigned with them for 3.5 years, I promise you, for 42 months right there. That's a little season. There's your 666. I'm busting you out, devil, right there. So, the fact that a billionaire gets to write this, and nobody's going to question that there is no this happened. You should ask yourself right there, come on back in, and ask yourself why a billionaire got to say this 4 or 5 days ago, and nobody said, hey, dude, were you drunk tweeting or what? Why'd you say that? Well, because they know he knows. They know he knows. The rest of the dead yet live again. Who do you think's running the show? They know. They're the ones that said, yeah, you don't need to go into Fort Knox. Yeah, you don't need to go do all that. Oh, the Epstein list? No, man, you're never going to get that. Why? Listen, bro, we're the rest of the dead, man. And if you want to stop breathing right now, try it for a second. Okay, stop breathing. All right. I know you want to breathe. So, all right, start breathing again. Now, are you taking this serious? I know you're the president and all this stuff. I know you are. Are you taking this serious? Because we were the rest of the dead. All right? Can you have a screenshot of your seals? Yeah, sure. I'm just telling you something, man. I'd hate to be dealing with those dudes, man. They'd turn around and just destroy you. They'd turn around and tell you, this is what's going to happen, man. You could think that you're on one side of the fence and you'd be on the other. Do that, seals. I made that on my phone. And that's the seals right there. The 7 seals of the apocalypse. And I'll turn it this way. There you go. There's another one. If you go to my subscriber page and subscribe, we're sending out an email every Friday, which is right before the Sabbath. And we're sending out that email every Friday. And it's going to tell everybody about this lattice. I'll have all these seals in here. I'll have that information about that 12-year-old Pope. We're going to be sending that stuff out. But it's really going to make a great introduction for this new format that is going to allow you to, all the pictures that I use in my content, it'll allow you to use those pictures. So hang on one second. Perfect. And what seal are we on now? Well, it's 2025, and that's 8 years away from right there. And the 6th seal were broken in 1033 when the rest of the dead yet live again, and Satan is released for a little season. So we're right here in 2025 before they break the 7th seal. That's not the end of the day. The 7th seal is silence in heaven for about half an hour, and then they handed trumpets, and the first one that blows the trumpet, like hail and fire, and a third of the grass is burned up, and the mountains start to slide into the sea. And, I haven't really gone down those roads much. And the times that, we say things happen again. The Antichrist was allowed to live for 40 and 2 months. And then this things happen again, just know Mount Vesuvius, that was a mountain that slid into the sea, man, and all those people were the biggest sinners of Rome, the most elite of Rome, and they all died in such a grotesque manner that it is described in the book of Revelation, a very similar event where these people just died screaming, and the expression is on their face and their cast of their bodies, and they were just like trying to get on the boat and holding their loved ones, and just whatever happened to those people, that whole city and all that stuff, they were all buried in terror. And there was all a pagan city, Herculaneum. I mean, they were all big statues of Hercules. So those people were just literally off the chain with worshiping in the wrong direction. You walk into that city, it's a city of fornication and prostitution. It's printed on the walls, the services and the baths and all of those things. It was a city of sin. What about the two witnesses and them being killed by the Antichrist? I can tell you that. Where's my book? Is it the Seven Seals? I have a book for you. If y'all want to read about the two... Acts of violence. Right here. I have that information for you. I love reading about the two witnesses. And it's told by, you have to understand that what I'm getting ready to read you is the Gospel of Nicodemus. He's the one that handled the body of Jesus Christ with Pilate. Here. No, it's not Elijah and Moses. Listen to this, trucker. You're going to trip out on this, man. This tells you about the 144 too. But the Lord, holding the hand of Adam, delivered him unto Michael the archangel. And all the saints followed with Michael the archangel. And he brought them all into the glory and beauty and grace of paradise. And there met with them two men, ancient of days, when they were asked of the saints, Who are ye, that you have not been dead in hell with us, and are set aside in paradise in the body? Then one of them answered, saying, I am Enoch, which was translated hither by the word of the Lord. And this is Elias, the Tishbite, which was taken up in a chariot of fire. And up to this day we have not tasted death, but we are received unto the coming of Antichrist to fight against him with signs and wonders of God, and to be slain of him in Jerusalem, and after 3.5 days to be taken up again alive into the clouds. And that's my witnesses, and this is all out of the Acts of Pilate. This is New Testament Apocrypha. This is in my 1938 King James Bible. The is to be enumerated amongst the Gospels. This is the Acts of Pilate, which is the judgment of Christ in the beginning. The second half is the descension into hell. And if you're one of my subscribers and followers, those are all things that you can get. And that is New Testament Apocrypha. And it tells you a great story. The people that told that story were two of the sons that got out of the grave when the rocks did rent and the bodies got out of the grave and walked through Jerusalem. That's two of the people that were out of the grave. They wrote an exact account in separate rooms and separate accounts, and they didn't have one difference in one letter. Do you think we go through tribulations? I sure do. It says that all of the tribes of earth shall mourn. So just know that all of the tribes of earth shall mourn. And that right there, let me do that. All of the tribes of earth shall mourn. Hey, go buy one of these shirts right here, too. Go to my website, and because I'm blowing the trumpet right now, and get that. Go buy one of them t-shirts. You can go to my link tree right there. Go to my bio page. Go to my link tree. And Mr. Morris, he's on here right now. Go buy that. Do you think we will go through the tribulation event? Like I said, all of the tribes of earth shall mourn. And remember that these are in red words. It's Jesus's. It's Matthew 24, and it says, immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the Son of Man be seen coming in the sky. And it says that's when all the tribes of the earth shall mourn. So just know that Jesus said immediately after the tribulation of those days, all of the tribes of earth shall mourn. So I think you're going to go through it because Jesus Christ said that immediately after the tribulation, and that all of the tribes of earth shall mourn. So yes, I do think that me and you are considered of all the tribes of the earth, and Jesus Christ himself said immediately after. So I just want to preach that to you real good. What about the rapture? Well, the rapture is whenever you're called up and taken up and changed in the twinkling of an eye, and there is going to be no more earth, and it's going to be destroyed destroyed and there is no more sea. So I can imagine somebody being caught up and judged in front of the books, which it does say, and you will be judged in front of the books with an S, and another book was open. So there's three groups, and you can read it. It tells you in Second Chronicles to read the book of Gad. And you can read the book of Gad. It tells you about the three books. That's the first book was open. Those were the great people, and they were taken immediately up. And then the second book was open that had the unintentional sins of the people. And they were, of course, this is all you being caught up to your book, Colin. And they were set over for the period of half a month. And then the third group were to be destroyed, and Satan was ordered to destroy them in front of everybody. So the tribulation of all of that happening, too, is you definitely, if you think you're cool enough to be called up into the first group, that's after the tribulation, and then you're caught up into the new heaven and new earth. Yeah, that's Revelation chapter 21, I believe, man. And there was no more sea. Ooh, I'm going to flip right to it, man. Okay, 21. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. That's Revelation chapter 21, verse 1. Just know that I thank you for the knowledge, sir. I tell you what, man. Let me read this one since I'm right here next to it. Revelation chapter 20, verse 5. But the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Shut up. Right here. That is the first resurrection, and the 1,000 years later is 1,033. Man, I'm from Georgia. I can do that math right there. He died in 33 and resurrected in 33, locked the devil away for 1,000 years, and the rest of the dead lived not again until the 1,000 years were finished. Donkey strong. Right there is going to be 1,033. So the rest of the dead live again right there. And it doesn't say that they're going to be little children, or they're going to live for one generation or whatever. It says that they were dead and they're going to live again. And that Satan gets out of his prison after the second death. And it said, blessed and holy is he that hath part in the first resurrection. On such the second death hath no power. But they shall be priests of God and Christ, and shall reign with him 1,000 years. That's the second 1,000 years. And they're always reigning with Christ. Christ never went anywhere. People go, he's coming back. And Christ didn't never go anywhere. He didn't go anywhere. They lived and reigned with him all of this time, man. Just know and the ones that were beheaded under the altar, when he says, tell me this ain't, now that you know the story that John the Baptist was the witness from God and that he was beheaded for the witness of Jesus Christ, okay, and King Herod was given power over him. Now, King Herod was given power over him. Understand that he was announced, just like Jesus was announced, by the angel, and that he leapt in the wound. So this is a special person, and that King Herod was given power over him to give judgment over John the Baptist. So let's read that, knowing this. And he laid hold on, and he cast him into the bottomless pit, and he shut him up and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more, till the 1,000 years are finished and fulfilled. And after that he must be loosed a little season. And I saw the thrones of those that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded, and judgment was given unto them. That's King Herod. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Jesus. That's John the Baptist. And for the word of God, in which they had worshipped the beast, neither his image, and neither had received the mark upon their forehead or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Christ 1,000 years. Bam, that's the millennial reign. So in Matthew 27, verse 52, they got out of the grave in Jerusalem, and the rocks did rent, and the grave split open, and the bodies of many saints which slept arose and walked through the city streets of Jerusalem, and were seen by many. So I really do appreciate that, because I can sort of put it side by side. Thank you so much for joining, Gen X. I thank you. I thought speaking in Ghent meant to be understood by all nations. You know what? A lot of people, I got that this Ethiopian Bible, and it was Geese. And they translated the book of Jubilees perfectly. But in the book of Enoch, which is what I wanted to read, they threw all the other books of garbage in there to confuse it. So I've got some more digging on that to do. I like to read Dead Sea Scroll material stuff, though. Can someone explain to me what Paul means in 1 Corinthians 14 regarding speaking? Teresa, I don't want to get off this subject, and I don't want to lose control of what this is right here. A billionaire The most influential person in the world right now. Can you make a comment on Genesis 1 when God said, let us make them in our image? Yeah, in Jubilees, it tells you about the angels of the presence and the angels of sanctification and the angels that deliver messages for God and all of those people that were, or these angels that were created. They call them Malachim, and that is the they. So that is the day when they said, let us create them in our image. But let's go right back to this point right here. A billionaire, the most influential person in the country right now, put this up and said that this happened and that there is no more of this right here. And this happened. And that these people have been running this, and this is what's going on. And that these people, they don't know the difference. Okay? Those people don't know the difference. And there was power given unto him to speak great blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. I'm just going to point one thing out for you. That's exactly how long that dude was in office before he resigned out of office. No, that guy right there reigned for 42 months. Right there. And that's exactly who that dude said isn't anymore, and it was a clone, and nobody's questioned that because the White House press corps has not been questioned about it, and they haven't given any comments on it. And just know that we've got given any comments on it, and just know that we've got right there. Boom. This is what the billionaire said 4 days ago. And, the fact that this guy leads the country for, what's wrong? That's how long it led for. That's just a little weird. His auto pen or whatever it is has signed that off. But for a billionaire to write this and nobody question it, you should be questioning that right now. You should be saying, why did you say that, man? Who did that? Who would have done that? And if y'all don't think that, like, people say, where are we at in the seals, man? I just see it all the time. Put this together. A day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day. And let me just tell you, we're all looking for the seventh day, the day of rest. And the seventh seal is the 7,000th year. So that is, we're past the sixth day right there. That's when the little season is. That's when the rest of the dead yet live again. And we're in 2025. We're 8 years away from them breaking the seventh seal, which is silence in heaven for about an hour. And, I just wanted to get on and drill this a couple of times and see it, turn it. I love it. That's the one. It cuts off some stuff that I can't see up there sometimes. But we're right there. All right? We're in 2025. We're 8 years away from silence in heaven for about half an hour and Satan being released from the second death. And this is what I want to do. He was Obama's puppet. I'm going to tell you what, man. You know what's weird? I don't care what kind of campaign trail you're on. This is weird. This is weird. Then the Jack Black thing is wearing this shirt and all about him. He just whatever. But that's who we're wrestling against, man. Not principalities and powers. It's the worldly governors and the princes of darkness of this world. But the people that get to literally write down, just understand this. This is the second last term. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible. The trumpet, the year of the trumpets, is the Jubilee year. Know that. Because it's announced, and it says Leviticus like 18. Just know that Leviticus is the year of the trumpets. It says that Jubilees is the year of the trumpets. And just know that's right there, that seventh seal, that's when they start blowing the trumpets 8 years away from now. So, that's the second seal. I hope that I can answer any more of y'all's questions. I'm going to set this down. We go live tonight. The Acts of Pilate, which is what I just read y'all from about the two witnesses, that's on tonight. If you'll go to my bio page and download the study guide, you can join us tonight. I certainly would appreciate it. We've got a whole new crowd over there. Y'all can become one of the subscribers, get on my mailing list, and we're going to send out some great information. I can show you right here. If you go to my bio page, click on my link tree right there, and that'll take you to all my work. And we're going to be studying the Acts of Pilate right here, chapters 4 and 5 tonight. Last night was the book of Jubilees, and the night before was Enoch chapter 5. At 8 o'clock on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is when we do this. I certainly appreciate 400 people being in this room. It's at 8 o'clock Eastern is when we're going to go on. I go on, and I try to go on at like lunchtime or so in the afternoon. But my scheduled lives, the ones that I have all the link tree and the study guides, I want you to go print one of these things out too. Because like for example, this is some of the sheets out of the 7 seals that I just sent. All those people that subscribe to me, these are the things that I sent out, and I sent an email with 1,500 people. I sent the 17-page color thing, and it tells right about we're at the seals, and then we blow the trumpets, and then the vials, and it tells you all about it. So I want you to go and subscribe to my page, and it'll allow me to tell you about the 7th seal, pictures and all that I want you to use, and you can use these pictures in your own work, and it tells you exactly right here when they blow the trumpets, when they blow the seals, and all the things that's going to be happening. We're coming on tonight. And we were talking about when the giants got told that they were not be released. That was in Enoch chapter 5 on Tuesday. It told them, they said, you've sinned horribly, and you're out of here, guys. And they were like, So there it is, man. I love y'all so much. I'm excited for the study tonight. It's such a good study. Thank you so much, Rose. And thank y'all, everybody, for helping me and supporting me. It's y'all that helped me get through this. 100,000 people have hearted this whole thing, and so many people have liked it. And I'm so blessed to have 333, 38, 36, 31, 30 that many people in there. I can't wait for tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. We go live, and I'm going to go through all of this again and expose what I see, because I'm going to blow the trumpet. It says in the last trump, the trumpet shall sound. Well, I pulled my chain, brother. Anyway, I love y'all so much. And you know that I pray for y'all every morning. So, dear Jesus, fill us with nothing but your great spirit, and let us see this world through your eyes. And in Jesus' name, amen. I'll see y'all later at 8 o'clock Eastern.